Good evening and welcome to Story Time with Pastor Alex. This evening's book that I'm going to be reading to you is Wild About Books. It is by Judy with pictures by Marc Brown. This was one of my daughter's favorite books growing up. So as we're heading into this summer, as you guys are wrapping up school, I thought this was kind of fitting because hopefully you are became wild about books while you're in school, and maybe you'll be encouraged to read some as well during the summer. So let us begin. It started the summer of 2002 when the Springfield librarian, Molly McGrew, by mistake drove her bookmobile into the zoo. Molly opened the door and she let down the stair, turned on the computer and sat in her chair. At first, all the animals watched from a distance, but Molly could conquer the strongest resistance. Bookmobile, animals all looking out the windows. By reading aloud from the good Dr. Seuss, she quickly attracted a mink and a moose, a wombat and oryx, a lemur, a lynx, 8 elephant calves, and a family of skinks. In a flash, every beast in the zoo was stampeding to learn all about this new something called reading. Forsaking their niches, their nest, and their nooks, they went wild, simply wild about wonderful books. Choosing thin books and fat books and cat in the hat books and new books and true books and heaps of how-to books. Giraffes wanted tall books and crickets craved small books, while geckos could only read stick-to-the-wall books. The pandas demanded more books in Chinese. Molly filled their request, always eager to please. She even found waterproof books for the otter who never went swimming without Harry Potter. Raccoons read alone and baboons read in bunches, and llamas read dramas while eating their lunches. Hyenas shared jokes with the red-bellied snakes, and they howled and they hissed till their funny bones ached. A tree kangaroo who adored Nancy Drew began solving mysteries right there at the zoo, such as, why were the bandicoots' books overdue? Gently, Molly taught lessons in treating books right, for the boa constrictor squeezed Crichter too tight. Baby bunnies mucked up Goodnight Moon with their paws. Giant termites devoured the Wizard of Oz. And Bear's love of books was completely outrageous. They licked all the pictures right off the pages. Tasmanian devils found books so exciting that soon they had given up fighting for writing. They made up adventures so thrilling and new that the others decided to be authors too. Pythons wrote with their tails, penguins wrote with their bills, and porcupines wrote with their very own quills. At the new insect zoo, bugs were scribbling haiku. The scorpion gave each a stinging review. A walking stick wrote, "A cannibal twig silently devours a leaf, eating, not eaten. Pretentious. The dung beetle writes, roll a ball of dung. Be kind of poo, any kind of poo will do. Baby beetle, bed. Stinks. The millipede wrote, I dig for treasure. In my enchanted castle, a rotten apple. Boring. And the giant hissing cockroach wrote, hiss, 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 hiss. Hiss, 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 hiss. Hiss, 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 hiss. Redundant. As the cheetah's new novel began to take shape, he read chapters each night to the Barbary ape. And although the gazelle couldn't spell very well, like everyone else, she had stories to tell. Imagine the hippo's enormous surprise when her memoir was given the Zuliter Prize. With so many new books, Molly knew what to do. She hired 12 beavers, a stork, and a gnu to build a branch library there at the zoo. Then the animals cried, we can do it ourselves. We can check the books out. We can put them on shelves. And they did, and they do, up to this very day. 3 cheers for the zoobrary. Hip, hip, hooray. When you visit the zoo now, you'll surely won't mind if the animals seem just a bit hard to find. They are snug in their niches, their nest and their nooks, going wild, simply wild about wonderful books. So, as we head into these summer months, one book that was not mentioned, of course, was the Bible. That most of you have, at one point, you have received a Bible. So I encourage you to read that over the summer. And if by chance, if you do not have one, please reach out to me and let us know. We'll get you a Bible somehow. And also, just reading in general, it gives you knowledge and makes you smart. So it also will prepare you for this next school year as we're heading into the fall. So before we go for the evening, can we put our hands together and bow our heads and do a repeat after me prayer? Dear God, thank you. Thank you for giving people knowledge to write books, to share it with us, and especially the people that wrote the good news of Jesus. Amen. Have a wonderful evening, and I will look forward to sharing a new story with you next week.